Welcome to Movie Mayhem here at Superior Works Cinema, where we watch all the movies. So I'm going to start a series on Zack Snyder. I already talked about Man of Steel in the Superman series review. So I figured I'd start with Watchmen. A little bit about Zack. I think the guy's brilliant, in all honesty. He's absolutely fantastic. Every movie he's done, from a visual perspective, just blows me away. He's good at capturing the emotions of what I want, the heart of what I want. Guardians of the Galaxy, a children's movie that I found interesting, exciting, and fun to watch. He's the only man who's, he remade Dawn of the Dead, and I liked it. That alone is mad props there. So we're going to talk about Watchmen. Watchmen, I read the comics when they came out individually, waited, 10 months for the last issue to come out or something. No, was it 10 or was it? It was a long time. I think it might have been even more than a year to get that last issue. So of course since then I've read the trade and then the cool edition with all the extra notes, and I have the Absolute edition. Absolutely fantastic series from Alan Moore. So they were talking about making a movie of this in the 80s. And it's been talked about since the 80s. At one point it was going to be an HBO miniseries, at one point it's going to be this, be that. A million different people talked about it with all kinds of rumors. Now, how do you bring what's effectively a cult classic of a comic into a film? It's hard enough to remake a cult classic film from an occult classic film. And Watchmen is not audience friendly at all. It is a dark, bleak world. It's depressing. It's nihilistic as hell. I mean, it's Alan Moore. There's nothing positive gonna happen in this. So, they made this movie, and I really got to give credit to Warner Brothers. The same thing Clint Eastwood's always said about Warner Brothers is that they let directors have their voice, and they do. This is not a movie I would have seen from most studios. They would have gone in and interfered the hell out of it. Now, this is the full maximum version. We'll talk about the two real versions. There's the director's cut, and then there's the cut with the animated portions spliced in. I'm going to call those two different versions there. With the comic, the flashbacks where the kid's reading the comic, which is the animated portion of the film, I get it. It's mirroring kind of what's happening. It's really cool for a literary device. I'm not 100% sure that works in the movie. It's still cool to watch it with that, but I don't think the film suffers without the animated portions in it. I would rate both of those equal. The animated portions, I think, if you're a fan of the comic, that's probably the better version. If you don't care, if you're not a what's the best word? I don't know. If you're not holding it to be true to the comic, then without the animated portions is better. The director's cut, of course, with the full length of everything, is better than the edited theatrical version, which was edited for running time, not for content. So, this is, how do you make something like this? This is something that's truly beholden to me with the characters. Casting came out, I liked everybody. I was like, wow, they all look pretty cool. I'm with it. Costumes and action in this film, perfect. Rorschach's perfect. Comedian's perfect. Everybody in this movie works. I've watched this movie so many times, and each time through, I love it just as much. Even every time at the end where Rorschach gives his final speech, every time it still hits me. It gives me that same intense feeling I had the first time I saw it. The changing of the giant squid monster. Let me say, when that came out in the comic, I said, that's really stupid. Giant squid monster is dumb. I stand by that. The giant squid monster is stupid. It looks stupid. It's just dumb. It's just a bad grell. I don't get it. I have no idea what they were going. I understand where he's going with that. So Schneider changed that, and I totally stand by it. I think it's better without it. I never liked it. conceptually it all becomes the exact same. It doesn't really matter. Sure, they're turning on Manhattan instead of the unseen enemy, but does it matter? It actually has more sacrifice to Manhattan's character. And I don't mind that. I think that works. This, Watchmen to me is the finest adaptation of a comic that's ever been made. Something like Man of Steel, it's not an adaptation of a comic. It is a comic book movie, but not an adaptation of a comic. This is a true adaptation of a comic. No one has come close to capturing this. I would even venture to say this is probably better than Man of Steel as a whole, as far as comic book movies go. This is my number one comic book movie by far. It's so perfect on every level that the other stuff, it can't compete. It can't compete on a stylistic level, a dramatic level, the depth of what's happening. Nothing there. And this is from, as a huge fan of the comic, that it makes it I don't know, it still managed to speak to me on all those levels. I think with, as he goes forward, I'm waiting for Dawn of Justice. I think that's going to be absolutely amazing as well. I trust Snyder with the properties that I love. He's earned that trust in me. So, the longer version of this just has more better drama. That's it. It's just better in every way. The animated portion, again, more there for just thinking you got everything there. And for this to come from such a young director, it just amazes me that he was able to pull off a film of this scope and magnitude. And for that alone, he deserves every bit of accolades and success he gets. And any complaint against this movie, I don't understand. Flat out. Not only do I not agree with it, I don't see where anyone's coming from. This is absolutely a perfect film. Again, if you don't like Watchmen, you probably shouldn't be watching the movie. It is depressing. It is dark, but this is one of those absolutely top films of all time for me. This would definitely get in my top 10 list if I made a movie of my favorite all-time films. So that's our first entry in the Zack Snyder thing. Again, if you don't have this, get this edition. It's insanely ridiculous and has a million of everything in it. Yeah, I love it. Looking forward to his next film a lot. We'll see you here next time in Movie Mayhem.